Hello, this is Ralph Hennig, your Wellness and Fitness Director, and I'm also passionate about athletic performance. I'm a strength and conditioning coach for many, many years, and I have coached many professional teams and athletes. And today I want to focus on the conditioning aspect, in particular running drills, agility drills, footwork drills. Because in tennis, it's essential to have a strong lower body, but of course also your upper body needs to be conditioned as well. But today we will focus on the legs, and that's why I am here actually in our facility on a tennis court. Our tennis director generously offered me to use the empty courts. Hopefully they will fill up soon. In the meantime, I encourage you to get your body fit and keep it fit so you're ready when the court's opening up, when you want to play tennis. And therefore, this is a time right now for you to actually work on the conditioning aspect. And no better time than that. It is also important to keep your body in shape just from the point of you are less likely to get hurt. Ankle sprains, sprained knee comes to mind, or hurting your lower back and so forth. There are many other parts to conditioning for tennis. You will not see the professional athletes in the gym, but I guarantee you that all of them are spending quality time at a fitness facility where there are strength machines and functional training available. But this is not what we are going to be talking about much today, but in terms of fundamentals, to have a solid base, your skeleton system strong with muscles supported, you should really also focus on strength training before getting onto the court, or even during the season as a maintenance workout. And if it's off season, to really build up the body to get it ready for tennis, and just generally to stay healthy, strong, and fit for whatever you might like to do. It might not be tennis, but especially in this case for tennis. Flexibility is one aspect, as we all know, but without the strength you can't move, and without flexibility you can't move very far. And then of course there is the aspect of joint stability and balance, which are very important when it especially comes to tennis. There is you need to have strong ankles and legs to propel you forward, make you stop and go, and lunge and reach and twist and turn. And that is all quite strenuous on the body. So for that, you must keep your body in good shape. Otherwise, it's just a matter of time that you will get hurt. Remember, most just amateur tennis players think they're playing tennis, that keeps them in shape. Not so. Think again. You basically are taking energy out of the body and muscles, and keep your body strong, so you can have that resource to take the energy out of your system and apply it towards tennis mechanics, so to speak. Yeah? We will work on a warm-up, rhythmic in nature. That's another part. You do not want to start tennis without warming up your system sufficiently, so you can be ready as soon as you exchange the ball. Remember, ball exchanges don't take much longer than 15 to 20 seconds in nature. They're anaerobic in nature. That means without the presence of oxygen, high in intensity, um, and um, and therefore you want to really work on drills which challenge that system, and that is so you'll be able to then have it ready when you really want to play. But for that, it is important that you have also a nice strong aerobic base. There's nothing better than aerobically working as a jogging motion or some running drills in between to keep the body in great shape. And the reason why I suggest that you actually run, because tennis is a running sport. Many amateurs, they choose to be on a bike, light on their legs, but that doesn't reinforce your knees, your hips, and your ankles. It strengthens your cardiovascular system, but you need to also keep your muscular system strong for that impact application, okay? So therefore, I suggest that you, in alternate days where you're not playing tennis, where you're not doing yoga or stretching, that you do at least twice a week some aerobic workouts, 30 plus minutes, jogging, and then of course stretching afterwards, to have a nice base, aerobic base. And once you have that, you will be able to work on these anaerobic drills more efficiently, more effectively, and you will recover from these much faster than if you wouldn't have that, okay? So we're going to do the warm-up, rhythmic in nature, stretching later on. Make sure that you do that after playing tennis, but we're going to do that, and then we'll get to a few more things on the court. And I have set up a few things here with the cones and the ladder drill, but keep in mind, if you don't have all that equipment, you might have some crayon, one of these things from the children, crayon sticks. Find yourself a space outside in the parking lot or in the yard, or in the driveway. Make yourself like a space similar to the tennis court, with some lines perhaps. And the same thing you can do actually if you don't have a ladder, simply draw a ladder. So I have here a ladder, but if you don't have a ladder, draw self or let the children draw a ladder. Ring drills here, we could do some footwork drills and agility drills on those rings here, but you can draw yourself some rings. Here I found actually a hula hoop, so instead of a hula hoop, make yourself draw some rings, or you can draw yourself, or the children can draw a what do we call it, Olympic rings to use for some of these drills. Here I have put up some hurdles, and if you don't have hurdles, next to it I set up some books. Make sure you don't take books they still want to be read from your family members, and so we're going to do just a few drills, and these are sample drills, and they are going to be high in intensity. The key is that you challenge yourself, that you actually get out of breath, because that will challenge the system. And then I want to point out here some other tools we will work on with once I am actually go through a workout with machines and free weights for tennis specific. We're not going to work on that a lot today, but There is a rubber bands here, like a long rubber band, for example. This is a great one for you to work on your rotator cuff as a preventive measure, but also as a warm-up. That's external rotation. You need both in tennis. That's internal rotation. You do 15 to 20 repetitions in both directions, and you warm up your rotator cuff. If the band is long enough, stand on it, then you could do both sides like that, forward or back this way. So I'm standing with one foot on it. This is great. You can work on shoulder moves here as a warm-up, because rubber bands are relatively easy and you don't want them to be too intense, so you can maintain some large range of motion, of course. And this is a great tool for you to put into your pockets, and you can use it as a fantastic travel companion wherever you go, as an exercise tool, which is taking a lot of space. Here are another set of bands, and again, I'm not gonna show you much about this. These are for your strengthening your hips, but also is for upper body, good to do. But that will be at another point, to do specific exercises, resistance exercises to build up the muscles, to make you stronger for tennis. And then I have a wonderful little creative place to do exercises. And I'm going to put this down here. And this is here a wonderful little place. And that's a bench. Nice, strong, sturdy bench. Most tennis facilities have a bench where you place your bags and your tennis your rackets and your towels and so forth. But this is a wonderful exercise tool as well. So you can use that as a warm-up, so to speak, before you get out there. So you put your stuff over there, and then, for example, you could do some dynamic stretches side to side, like so. And remember, you want to do the stretches or the warm-up stretches dynamic in nature. So you want to warm up your body, and you want to do moves that are similar in nature than what you do later on. On the tennis court, for example, there's a lot of rotation going on. So now I'm rotating already in a rhythmic, dynamic way, get my body ready, like so. That's one way to do that. So, use the bench, make it natural, rhythmic in nature. Then I'm doing a nice dip up and down to warm up my arms and my back of my body. You can do that with straight legs, or you can also do bent legs. Is that a little easier for you? But make sure your arms are fully engaged. It's a great way to get your mind and your body prepared for the either the competition or your workout on the court. And then we have the push-ups here, a modified weight, a nice and deep push-ups. You can go also into some dynamic side plank rotations. This is all dynamic in nature. Yeah. Here back to the push-up, you can bring the knees up side to side, like so, while you're holding yourself onto the bench. And then of course we have the step-ups here to warm up, right, left. You just want to get a little bit out of breath. You want to really feel that you're warmed up about 10-15 minutes. You can do some step-ups with some drops, like so, 10-15 of those. And if you really want to get the body going and you're already in good shape, you can do some squats up and down onto the bench, and before you know, you're already a little bit out of breath. And that's important, that you're a little bit out of breath. I'll tell you why. Because that means you're tapping into the system you are actually also going to be using. Important is too that you're doing some dynamic stretches, like straight leg raises, for example. Okay, to get the hamstrings engaged, to stretch them, and before you know it, certain parts you're not really getting involved much, they have the vulnerability to getting hurt when you really need them later on. The side bends, these are dynamic, very important. Again, twisting, now you're standing, you get the legs involved, elbow to knees, and I would suggest you do any of these about 20 times, because you want to build them some little bit stamina like so, or straight legs like so, and you can tell that I'm always adding the rotation to it. Now wide stand, you're going to lunge from side to side, because there are going to be a lot of lunges in tennis, so go from side to side, and don't be shy to get down to the floor. It's for your drop shot perhaps later on. So reach down, lunging, one leg is nice and straight, the other one is bent. Breathe. Focus always on your core muscles. They're right around that torso, front, side, and back, that they're engaged. You don't want to just use arms. And then, of course, in the good old jumping jacks, as a warm-up, add some shoulder circles in both directions. Because like I told you, you need shoulder mobility and rotation and all of that stuff to have the body prepared. I also like the hop and the twist, like so. Stand the ball of your feet, that's it. And then footwork work, you can start already with some quick footwork drill, forward and back, open, close, and crisscross. And before you know, you're warmed up, okay? One more thing, make sure your hip is not just strong, but also flexible. So an external hip rotation like so is a very, very good exercise to get the hips going. So you lift it up in the front, you rotate all the way, and then you just push behind that knee. And it's a good exercise too for that standing leg and for balance. And these core muscles, they have to hold everything up in place. And then make sure you reverse that. You swing it from behind forward, behind and forward. And like I said, about 20 of those. Now if you want to just focus a little bit more on core, get the arms completely out of the way here right now. Okay, like so. And this is all warming up. You see, you want to really spend some diligent time to warm up the body, okay? Squats, nice and low. You can also add a couple mini burpees here, like so. Jump up and down. And then, of course, very important, because we're strengthening the body from the ground up, you must focus on your feet and your ankles, okay? Toe raises, like so. So toe and heels are going up, forward and back, especially your toes, but also when you come down on your heels, try to pull your toes up for a moment, all right? And then, of course, the most important is flexibility. Flexibility is essential because it allows the foot, your ankles, to absorb that energy effectively and efficiently. So when your feet and ankles and calves absorbing that energy, that trauma will not move further up that closed kinetic chain into the knee or the hip or even into the lower back, okay? So with that said, we're going to start with the first drill. We're going to do we're going to work a little bit on the ladder, okay? Just going to show you a few of those drills. And of course, you can look up, I want to motivate you. I want to give you some incentive to get off the couch and then prepare your body, even though you're not right now playing. You're not playing tennis. Let me just hold it here, okay? And now we're right over here. So we're down here, and I want you to focus on your feet, and we're going to go forearm back. And as you go forearm back, you travel up the ladder, okay? And you want to do that as quick as you can, and you work on your feet. And the faster you can work on that, the better, okay? While your body is in control. So we're going in one direction, leading with one foot, and then of course, when you go back, you're going to lead with the other foot, okay? In and out. So that is one great drill, lateral drill, footwork drill, in and out, all the way down the ladder. And if you have these crayon markers, then you can of course add many squares, okay? And this one is a favorite of mine. I'm facing now the ladder. I'm going to walk, stepping in with both feet, 1, 2, and then open, close. In, out, out. That works really well, again, on the footwork, moving in and out. And then, of course, you start again, and always make sure you always add both feet as the lead leg. Not always your strong leg or weak leg is leading. Always work on balance and symmetry. Okay, so the ladder is a cool way to really address footwork and agility. All right, and keep your ankles nice and strong. Now, these rings here, for example, I set up these 3 rings. They're a great way to work on some explosiveness, and it looks like so. I am actually either hopping on both legs also want to make sure you show good self-control. That's essential. It tells me, or tells yourself, that you're in control over your own actions. Okay? Because remember, your opponent always wants to throw you off your base. Wants to get you in a bad position, a position where you get thrown off balance. So stability, having a strong body, will help you to be able to recover really fast from positions which you have been forced into. So you can quickly recover, regain control, and get control over the court, so to speak. Okay? Single leg would be just like so. Single hop, and come back. The other leg, single hop. Make sure you do a nice rhythmic motion. And you want to stay on the ball of your feet. Okay? That's another example. You can also work sideways. Okay? You can expand the distance of the rings. So you can really challenge your lateral strength by simply stretching out these rings, and then you can really get into some leaps and so forth, and challenge yourself. Push yourself a little bit, okay? You become more powerful that way, in a very active way, very sports specific, and these drills are really fun to do with your kids, or let the kids do them, well, you should be doing them perhaps maybe a little bit modified, but these are good outdoor activities in general. All right, here is our we got the hula hoop, and here's another great way to do many different drills. One would be dribbling in and out, and you're facing basically the center, and then you switch. And note also that I changed my lead leg, and you do one full circle, and then move to the other direction. And then once you get to a point where you are out of breath, you have reached pretty much the limit, or you're approaching the limit of your anaerobic energy system. So you really want to do that. So instead of just saying, okay, I'm doing X amount of counts, I want to think about get out of breath. Do it as long the drill as until you get out of breath, until you have to rest and recover. And that's just as important in terms of building up your energy system and your stamina, is that you recognize when you're out of breath. You push it a little bit more, and then you rest in between until you have regained your composure and you can think clear, and then you do it a second, a third, a fourth, or a fifth even set more. Okay? So that would be my suggestion, how to build slowly up. And you know, the sky's the limit. If you feel like after 5 sets you want to do another drill, make sure you also listen to your body. It should be really crisp and fresh. So if the body is not ready and the mind wants to push harder, the likelihood of getting hurt is also high. So just make sure that when you feel like the body is getting tired, that you don't push too much further. Okay? Okay, next one here. We got the hurdles. The hurdle drills here is pretty much straightforward. You can do many things, but I prefer to stick with the basics. Okay? Either you're weaving in and out, side to side. And here I have now my, and then you can finish with a forward sprint perhaps. Remember, I have set up also the books there. So for example, we're weaving ready, set, go, weaving in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, and finishing the sprint. Go back, in and out, in and out, in and out, oops, and in and out, okay? So that can happen, you know, when you don't pay attention, but stay focused and precise in your moves. Another great one I love is the lateral moves. Go over the hurdles like so, high knees, come right back, like so, okay? And you see how quickly you can get out of breath while you actually sharpen your tennis skills. So tennis specific energy system and tennis specific skills equals a better tennis player. Okay? And next one, I have a wonderful little exercise here. You see those cones? So you start on the baseline right here. So we're going to start right here. Ready, set, go. We're going to sprint forward. Split position. Breathe in and out. Shuffle, tap, shuffle, tap, shuffle, tap, shuffle, sprint, come back. Jog back, center. Ready, set, go. Now we'll do the same thing on the other side. Split. Weave around, shuffle, tap, shuffle, tap, shuffle, shuffle, sprint out, and finish. See how, again, how you can challenge yourself, covering the entire court, not more than 15 to 20 seconds in nature, similar than a rally, a ball exchange, which is not much longer, and so you really can prepare your system without hitting the ball, so you can really pay attention your body in motion, and improving the system from the inside out. Okay, one more great drill. There are plenty others. If you're a little bit creative, you can do so many things on these various lines over here. In terms of running drills, there are virtually endless. Okay, I'm going to show you one I really love here with the tennis balls. And again, you're going into a split position on the baseline, standing yourself. Okay, you're going to run forward, split, pick up, shuffle back, split, and then place the ball right there and line the balls up there. Okay, so you also have to pay attention when you come back so you don't drip over the ball. It's essential that you pay attention. So what this will do is it will create a better spatial awareness. Okay, your depth perception, spatial awareness is essential on a tennis court. You know where things happening, how far the distance is, where all things are in relation to yourself. It's a very important part, okay? So here we are over here. I'm going to run over now diagonal, and then shuffle back like so. And here, split, shuffle over here, run back, split, shuffle sideways, come back, switch hands, go quite seamless to the other side, pick it up, drop it off, run all the way down to the net, shuffle back, and split, one more time, shuffle back, as hard as you can, and split, drop off, done. You can tell how out of breath I am, but a little bit of practice, you will get better. In fact, if you work on that throughout the session, to a point, you will become a little bit more efficient. Now remember, when you're done with these drills, just like when you play or practice, so when you practice tennis or you actually compete, please make sure you stretch afterwards. Okay? Stretching afterwards is essential. Alright? You can't neglect that part. You're walking out there because you have to drop off or pick up something, or your children, or you have some other business lined up and you're late, and you're gonna, before you know, it's gonna accumulate quickly how stiff your body is and awkward to move. Now one exercise is a simple one, a forward stretch like so, straight legs, okay? And make sure you don't, make sure you don't slouch and push your head down. It's not the head what we want to stretch, it's here, lower back, hip, hamstring region, okay? If you don't have the ability to touch your toes, get some rope and get something firm, a rope where you can kind of bow and pull yourself forward, and then you hold it and breathe deeply, long, elongated breath. You don't want to be tense. You want to just start to relax and find a nice stretch, and that happens over time. So a bouncing, ballistic stretch is not what we need right now after you have exercised or you have played a match and so forth, okay? This is a time where you start to power down, relax, and once you're leaving, you should be feeling really loose again. There should be no tightness, no stiffness, okay? Okay, now this next one, it's a hurdler stretch. You could bring one leg in and reach forward, put the other one behind you to brace you and prop yourself up. Then you get the hip on that side a little bit engaged. Just going to show you that one here too, and just lean on that side and lean forward, and let that knee drop down. Okay, opens up. A great one is the butterfly here. Always good to. You can see how tight I am. Comes with age. Anyways, so you want to bring the knees, kind of just loosen it up and then push it down and hold it. Again, just hold it. Over time, if you really stay with these principles, strength training, flexibility training, the conditioning part, and be consistent. The key is really be consistent. The footwork, agility, court drills twice a week, strength training 2 to 3 times a week. All that comes together and equals great conditioning and preparation for a healthy and strong lifestyle, because tennis could be played well into the older ages if you stay fit enough. Right? Here's a great one. Open those legs, and then you want to reach over to the other side so that hand behind you is on the floor, and you literally are reaching across like so. Again, and over here, reaching across. Make sure you don't lift that butt up. That should stay down, so you pull away from your hip. Good. Or reach towards both feet and bow again forward to get the inner thighs. You need those inner thighs when you lunge sideways. They need to have the ability to get you out there, lower you on the ground without being pulled. Yeah? And of course, either you bring the leg over like so, and you just kind of try to hug it. That's a great stretch for the hip, because it gets very tight. Your glutes, because you use them, obviously. Yeah? Like so. Or this way, on that side. Add a little twist, like so. But better yet, if you lie down, you bring the knee up, and then just bring it over, and just try to relax. Make sure your upper body doesn't rotate along with the hip and leg, but your upper body stays fixed. Yeah, it's not moving. That's the hardest part. It will help to maintain some good flexibility around your torso and your hips. Great. And come on up. And then of course you want to also not neglect the quads. To pull back the knee like so. You can also do it side lying like so. Bracing yourself on your elbow. Sideways here. Great. Excellent stretch. And of course also your shoulders. Nice extended out there in front of you. And you drop your shoulders down and hold the position. If you can, put your forehead down on the floor and keep your arms nice and straight. And a very important stretch, most often is neglected, is all the moves in tennis are frontal. They go in this direction. You want to open up the chest again. So interlock your fingers behind and just reach behind. You stretch your shoulders and your biceps, your chest muscles. And then of course, not to overlook your rotator cuff. Yeah? Think about behind, you want to reach down to your scapula, and your arm is really close to your head. And you switch sides and do the same thing on that side, nice and tall. Good. And you bring this all together in a kind of a complete programming that includes, of course, the practice on the court with your coaches, work on your weaknesses, whatever it might be, ground strokes, serves, volleying, whatever it is. But if you don't have the fundamentals is your body. Your body has to be strong enough. You will always be more inclined, even though you like the sport, not to give everything. With other words, be able to be as good as you could be if you don't really make sure that you have a strong, solid foundation. Strength, flexibility, stability, and conditioning. Now, happy tennis. Enjoy, and hope you have taken some of this information and make it work for yourself.